welcome back to Autumn's Way. My name is Tamara. For those of you who don't know me, you're probably wondering why I'm sitting in the middle of the woods. Well, actually, I'm sort of in the middle of the woods, but I am at our family cabin in West Virginia spending the weekend and thought what beautiful scenery to include in my video. It's not going to get better than this, so I hope you enjoy the background. On this channel you'll find all things training and organizational development, so I hope you'll continue to come back. So in this video you're going to learn what a plan of instruction is, 3 crucial benefits to writing a plan of instruction, how to write like the first section of a plan of instruction. For short we call it POI, so I'll be using the acronym POI throughout this training. So what is a plan of instruction? Why would you write a plan of instruction? And for all you teachers out there, you probably call it a lesson plan, but probably not as in-depth as what a trainer might use as a POI. So a POI is it's like a map trying to get from your starting point to your destination, and so that's what a plan of instruction does. It brings the learner from where they are now to where you want them to be. So just kind of think of it as a map throughout this video. The POI will include the objectives for the course, the overall objectives, and if you haven't seen my previous video on writing training objectives, there's I explain how to what training objectives are in terms of the terminal objectives and the enabling objectives. So POI will include the terminal objectives, the enabling objectives. It'll also include all the activities for the course. It'll include all the materials. It'll specify the rationale for developing the course. It will include what the instructor qualifications should be. So it's really a one-stop shop for what this course will be about. And anyone should be able to pick up that plan of instruction and be able to develop it from start to finish because you've mapped it all out down to each activity that you're going to do. And so it's a huge benefit to actually writing a plan of instruction before you get started. So what are the benefits to writing a plan of instruction? There are many benefits to writing a plan of instruction, but I'm just going to tell you my top 3, what I see are the most critical benefits that you'll realize by doing a plan of instruction. So first, it streamlines the entire training process. So if you're the sole developer, or if you have multiple developers, it streamlines the entire process because everyone is working towards that same goal. So if you have multiple training developers on a course, and you've sort of divided out what the units will be, if you didn't have a plan of instruction, those trainers would go off and build their units without really any regard for the other units and how those have mapped out and what those are going to look like. And when the training developers come together, none of it fits together. It's not a nice, neat puzzle. And so by writing a plan of instruction, each developer for a particular unit knows what the other developers are doing, and they stay on target with their unit because everybody's mapped it out ahead of time. So the first benefit is just it streamlines that development process. It also streamlines the review process, because if you had multiple developers on a project or even a single developer on a project, bringing back those units, it's going to be a lot of back and forth review. And so again, that first real benefit, it streamlines the process, which essentially saves an organization money, because you're not having to waste man hours going back and trying to figure out, okay, wait, what did you do in your unit and why did you do it that way? It saves all of that. So that's the first benefit. Second, the POI is a huge time saver, especially through that review process. It saves time and effort, wasted effort really, by different developers developing different sections, and it just really, everybody sees it from beginning to end, so there isn't a lot of wasted time trying to spin your wheels kind of individually in your own silos. So it just is a huge time saver, which again benefits the organization because it saves money on development costs. And if you stay tuned to the end of the video, you'll see that I'm going to review what a plan of instruction would look like, an example plan of instruction. I'm also going to include a template for you in the section below. So I hope you'll stay tuned for that. So it's a real, that template is so easy to use, and I'm going to show you how to use it. The third real benefit to doing a plan of instruction is that it makes sure that the end goal, or that destination, if you think about the map, it makes sure that the participant will start at this particular destination and will end at this destination. It maps it out all the way from beginning to end before you even start the development process. It makes sure that training developers are not developing their units in silos or in a vacuum. They're actually developing their unit with all the other units in mind and with the end goal in mind. And so it just, again, streamlines the process. It saves time and effort and money, and that it ensures that that end goal is met, or that destination is met. I actually just used this same template that I'm going to show you for a new course development that I'm doing, and it made the development so much easier because I sat down with the subject matter expert, and we literally, she didn't know exactly what she wanted. She just knew that she had to implement a new policy, and that new policy impacted a bunch of different areas in the organization, but she didn't really know how to get it across to her learners. And what I realized by talking with her is there was a lot of complaints and a lot of people coming to her with issues that could have been resolved in the organization if there was a consultation component added into the training. And once she realized that, then it was through that development of that POI that we both realized that this would be a huge impact to the training. And so we added a whole unit on this, how to do this consultation piece. And it made everything else in the development easier, or in the POI development easier. And so using a POI can really help you as the training developer really map out what you want, but it also helps the subject matter experts or the organization really know where to take this training. And we are still in the review process of the training materials, but she is just so pleased with the training because she got to see it from beginning to end and really think through what it is that she wanted to do. So I just think that using those POIs are just, I wouldn't do training without them. So, but I'm going to now show you a training POI that I put together, just an example one, not the one I just referenced, but just an example one, and I'll kind of walk you through it, and then I'll include the template below. So here is the template, learners, that I am going to include as an attachment below. And for the first part, you can put your logo up here in the left-hand corner of your organization, and then put what your course name is, and just put plan of instruction, and then put your name and date when you developed it. And then again, you can put your organization name at the bottom, or however you do your footers and headers, whatever your template is for work, you can do that here. And then the first part right here is you're going to put the rationale for the course. And so I put some key questions there that you would need to kind of ask yourself. Is it a new policy that changes the way participants will do business? Do participants need to learn a new system, etc.? So these are just some questions to kind of ask yourself about why you're doing the course to begin with. You put the course goal, and I put an example here. The goal of this course is to provide HR staff with the knowledge and skills necessary to learn the new HR system of record. And then you put your terminal objectives. Again, if you haven't seen my previous video on writing course objectives, go ahead and look at that one, because it'll tell you how to do these terminal objectives, and I have examples. Then you have your target audience. Here is where they are, where they're located, what the level is in the organization. You can put all of that here in the target audience. And then your course delivery method and any prerequisites that your participants will need to have, and I also included examples for each one of these. What your instructional strategies are, whether you're going to use lecture or tabletop exercises, you'll put those strategies, just overall what you're going to use. Any course references, like if it's a new policy that you're writing, you would include that here. and what your evaluation method is here. And I'm going to do a future video on training evaluation, but for you trainers out there, you kind of know about evaluation. So anyway, that would be where you would put your evaluation information. Any supplies that you would need for the course would be listed here. If you're training on, you know, any kind of like specific service or something like that, if you're teaching photography, for example, you might list the equipment that's needed to teach that course. But you would just put all that, you would think through all of that ahead of time and put that list here. And then here's where you actually start to build out that first big section, which is, you know, what are the overall objectives for every unit? And I'm sorry, I made this a lot bigger so you guys could see it in the camera, but I won't scroll all the way over. But basically, you put your overall terminal objectives for the course here. Then you start specifying what each unit objectives would be. And I put an example, some examples here as well. Each unit name and the objectives for that unit. And you just kind of keep scrolling down, and you can see you've mapped out everything, all the objectives for each unit, which is really important to do ahead of time, because when I was building this template for you all, I had to think through, okay, does this unit build on the next unit, and so on and so forth. And so by the end, I had suggested here doing just for this mock training, doing a final scenario. A scenario-based activity to kind of test learners' knowledge comprehension. Well, in order to get them to this final scenario, I had to make sure that each one of the previous units taught what I needed them to learn so that they could perform in this final scenario. So you can see that it's really important to build out this POI in advance so that each unit is connected to the next. So that is all for this training. So learners, that's all for today's video. I hope you found the content helpful to your training development and also found the template useful. If you do use the template, please comment below and let me know how it worked, or you know, what other tools that you use to build training. I'd really love to see them. So in my next video, I'm actually going to show you how to build upon that POI. I'm going to build out each unit for this mock training so you can see how we connect all the unit objectives to the overall objectives of the course. And so we'll build out each unit. So I'm going to teach you that in my next video. Let me know if there are any other training topics that you'd like to see. I've been in training for 20 years, or 20 plus years actually. And I've also done a lot of organizational development, so there are going to be tons of topics going forward on training and organizational development. But if you have any specific ones you'd like me to do first, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed to Autumn's Way, I'd really love to have you as a subscriber, as a visitor. All right, learners, that's all for now. I'll see you on my next video. Take care.